for the schools, outside of the serenity and the beauty of the trees, which sometimes fall on our wires and we lose our power. But this is really, in a nutshell, this is it. Policy, board, transparency. You asked me a question, as Ms. Blumenstick, who's here tonight, my fantastic admin assistant will tell you, I'm going to answer you. I promise you that. It may not be the answer you always want to hear, and it may not be, the answer that's most in vogue, but I'll have an answer for you. So you never have to worry about that. If you want to come see me, you want to talk to me, please do. I'm always out in front of you. Achievement, we'll be achieving and celebrating our students' achievements and our staff along the way. Data, we will use data to help us, right? By way of numbers, hard data. Accountability always, that starts and ends with me. Our staffing, our structure, everything I just talked about. Fiscal management is huge. That is the big one for our budget. And just think this. Forever I would say to folks in Hackettstown or down in East Rutherford and Paulstown, well, listen, my taxes go up too. In August when we all get that bill, right? We all know what that is. But they would tell me, even though you don't live here, you don't know. So now I live here, which is unique. So when you see me at the Walgreens, or you see me at Stop and Shop, or you see me out on the street, or you see me doing cardio on the road, or you see me anywhere and we're having that kind of conversation, just understand, my taxes go up too. But I'd be more than happy to give you the opportunity to talk about why that just went up, what that actually means, because I know sometimes it's a gray area. So what are the fundamentals under my belief? And I have to believe as school security comes to the top all the time, and we go a few months, and I know we're kind of numb to it all. I don't believe, I'll never be numb to it. Something happens, tragically, terribly, and it comes back. First question always, is my child safe? Now, when I went to school, my parents didn't have to worry about that, because it was a different world, like some of you here tonight. I'm sure your parents didn't worry about that when you went off to school. But today we worry about that. And it's not me where I'm one of these superintendents that believes, we have to put barbed wire around the windows. No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that while I'm here, I will do everything in my power to make sure that our children and our staff are safe. And if that means looking at policy for mental health and crisis and how we conduct business interior-wise as a school with our young folks, I will. If it means mental health services for students and staff, I will. I'll look to have those arguments in budget when everybody's going back and forth about what we should spend money on as far as resources. If it's hardening our schools, I will. I will do everything I possibly can to make sure that everybody is safe. And God forbid, I'm always the first one going. I'm always the first one to the school. Second, it's my child learning. Now, I know the answer for me since we've moved here. My wife is here tonight. I'm sure she could tell you just the same. I know that answer. That doesn't always mean we're perfect. Nobody is, starting with me. But I can tell you, I have had nothing but a positive relationship, nothing but positive encounters, and nothing but positivity coming from our daughter since we moved to Kinnelon. And it started with, and I know you don't like this, Mrs. Mole, but I'm just going to point you over here because I see it. Started right there with Mrs. Mole. Give me a building of Mrs. Mole, I could change the world. That's all I could say. So, but that doesn't mean we can't do things differently. That doesn't mean we can't do something, we can't pivot and change things. Of course we can. And we will when it's appropriate. But these are the questions we ask. And the last, now for high school staff, it's a little different, but is my child having fun at school? Because sometimes fun in high school means a little bit different than it does in middle, than it does means into the elementary. But I do believe, and especially coming out of COVID, there has to be just a little bit of fun, a little bit of flexibility in school when our kids go to school. So when our student council engages me, whether it be here in Kinnelon now and going forward or in the past, I listen. Sometimes I listen and I cover my ears and I tell them that and they make fun of me because it's too much. But a lot of times it's good stuff. So whether it's embracing and engaging our community, Senior citizen proms, dances, bringing back old traditions, starting new traditions. I'm always up for it because I do believe, give them an opportunity to show you. Now, if they do something wrong, like we would do no different with our own children, then we hate it. Then okay, well, we gave you a shot. If you blew it, you blew it. But at least give them the opportunity. So that's another idea and concept coming from the student council monthly luncheons. I want to hear what our kids have to say. So on the agenda tonight, if you saw it, are district goals. The board was very aggressive, and I agree, regardless of the time of where I'm starting, to select 5. Okay? And you'll always hear me bring everything back to what are the district goals. Now, we don't have a strategic plan that'll be part of the board goal coming. But those two go together, side by side. So the first district goal, communications and transparency, to improve community awareness and appreciation of district operations by holding hybrid meetings and hybrid forums. So our policy right now does not allow and permit for hybrid meetings. That's going to change. So we have a policy committee scheduled for November 8th. We're going to discuss it. I'd like to get it on the agenda for November, second reading in December. So when we start our reorg meeting in January 23, we're streaming live. And then that gives community members that can attend the opportunity to public comment. It would go to Ms. Keene as the board secretary in email. Ms. Keene would read the emails out, and whether the board and I select to respond or not, at least the public has that opportunity to comment. And then they have the second comment on non-agenda items. Now the administrative forum meetings, shortly I'll show you a slide and what I mean, and I'll explain that. But those will be streaming starting next month. Okay, the admin meetings are different. Public meetings, January. Second, culture of excellence. Develop a plan to improve climate and culture throughout the district. That includes all the proms. Students, right? We're starting now with the student council and then some. Staff commitment, I will be attending faculty meetings and their SIP panel meetings. We're going to have a lot to talk about. I have some ideas that I'll throw out to the staff. Hey, what do you think? Good idea. You want to do this? You don't want to do this? And then I want to hear that, because I'm just not here just to talk. I have to listen and hear, process, and bring it to the board, bring that information. So no matter what they share with me, we'll have those good conversations, but they will be involved. And then it's retention of staff and students. So I can tell you, when you see on our agendas that staff are resigning, that's nothing new anywhere. Staff are leaving all over. People are tired after COVID, and I suspect that more will come. And we don't have the backup that we used to have. Folks are not going into the colleges for education like they used to. But we're going to do our best. I can promise you that. And as far as students, I've already asked Mr. Monken that in January, once the guidance department starts to have an understanding of what students in our 8th grade may decide to leave, I will personally call those parents. I won't show up on their doorsteps. I know that's not safe to do anymore. And a long time ago I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. But I will ask parents why. Why would you want to leave our community? Why would you want to come to our high school? What is it that we're not offering you? And I would hope that it wouldn't all revolve around sports. Okay, because we know the odds on just sports. So that will change. 3, financial stewardship, public engagement. You will have an opportunity as the public in the first week of March to come on out, where you'll see myself and the team, with the admin team, presenting to the board a preliminary budget and a vision. And that will be our practice going forward. So it gives us 2 full months before the board votes on the public budget, which increases our taxes, to discuss and explore what it is we think we need right now, what is the short term, and then what's a little bit of a longer vision. That will encompass your facilities, that will encompass security, that will encompass programs, staff, all of it. So I've already engaged our admin team, and they're all here tonight. They understand that I want them now to start putting that plan together, because our finance meetings will start shortly. We actually have a finance committee meeting next week. So that is something that is just ongoing and revolves. Technology, I think we all could stand here and say our technology, and I know the cell service and technology are two separate issues, but I consider them linked, especially when everybody on Keel Ave and parts of the high school cannot receive emergency alerts. That's a problem. That's a problem that I'm going to directly take on, head on. Okay? So our technology and our infrastructure, Mr. Giannicelli, who's here, he handed me within 24 hours a list. All right, 2 weeks ago, I wasn't officially here yet, but I know everybody received the alert that had to do with switches that died that were over 10 years old. Okay, that's a problem. That's our job to maintain that. And that's what we will do. So I don't want to put you on overload, but there's a lot. When I lifted the roof of the hood, I'm finding a lot already in 4 days. Okay? No different than the school, our Keel School was built in 1994. Guess what? That roof is original. That's a problem. And since I did all the roofs in Hackettstown, I can tell you straight that that's anywhere from $1.2 million to 1.6 right off the bat. That's a problem. Okay, so those are things. Air quality, I don't know the last time we had an air quality test in our buildings. It's something we're going to do. Now that's not nearly as expensive. Right? And that's not technology, but they all flow because then you see facilities being the last one, or a long-range facility plan. In June every year at our public meetings, Ms. Keen and I will present a long-range revised facility plan because again, it's a fluid document. We may not have thought we had an issue until we had an issue. But it's our job to start mapping it. What's the history? Give me the history. I like history. That was one of the subjects I actually loved when I was in school. I did not like math or science, but give me history. Now, the board goals. We will start the strategic planning process. I bet that'll start on the back end of the new year. I know we're losing some board members. We're going to gain some new ones, so we have to go through that process and a little bit of growing pains on procedures and protocol, January, February, March. But then we look to start the strategic planning process in the back end of the school year. Public will be notified. You'll have every opportunity to come to every one of those meetings and provide your input in developing and creating the new vision that you'd like. We'll also develop the mission statement at those meetings. We're going to create a new board member packet. We're going to revamp the process and the agenda setting. And I know we had these discussions already in the board office earlier this week. And again, celebrate district successes. So when I say celebrate that, I mean you can count that in December, Mr. Doty will be here, our athletic director. With every, and I know between yesterday and tomorrow, we have multiple teams that are in state playoffs. He will every December honor all our coaches and student athletes in those programs at a public meeting. And then follow suit in the winter at our April meeting, and then our spring sports in June. Along the way, advisors will be honored, students will be honored that are out there achieving high levels and high goals. We will bring it to public meetings. Okay? Our parents will be brought forth with them. Those are just small steps in honoring success. Now, I shared during the interview with the board, and I shared with a few folks that in my time, again, just to give you an idea, I like to honor people. I like to recognize people. So, I had an excellent wrestling coach in my former district. We named the wrestling room after him. After 30 years of service and over 200 wins, and he was a fantastic math teacher, by the way, which was even better. We named the room after him. Named 2 fields after a long-time coach, softball and soccer. That coincided with the Hall of Fame. Named the high school media center after we renovated that. After a biology teacher that when I would sit in her classroom, I thought I knew biology. And trust me, I did. But when I listened to her, I knew it. We named the media center after her. And then to top it all off, we named an elementary building after one of our high-achieving principals, elementary principals. So I'm all about it. So when the board came up with this, that's right down my alley. Okay? So when I'm sharing those snippets with you here tonight, that's 10 years. It's a lot of time. I could be here tomorrow telling you it's not worth it. But we're going to do that here. I can tell you that. Okay? Because that playbook certainly works. So what are those challenges, right? What did I listen to, what you listened to during all the Zooms in the summer of 20 and the winter of 21 and all that good stuff? Communication. Well, hey, You can't get more communication than everything I just shared. You're going to go hybrid, you have every opportunity to come on. There's going to be multiple meetings, every opportunity to engage. You'll see me, I live here. I'm with you. This is our community. Not just yours, different than the last time I served. It's us. And I wouldn't make any decision for your children that I wouldn't make for my own. And you can take that right to the bank. Okay? So, hit conflict resolution. I'll be hosting, probably the back end of the winter, an opportunity for parents to come on out. And guess what? When you come, I'm giving you a quiz. Just be ready. I'm giving you a quiz because it's not so simple. It really isn't. Trust me, it's not. Conflict resolution, pretty simple. HIT and determining HIT and what our admins and our specialists have to go through and our staff and you as a parent when you get that phone call, oh man, let me tell you. But I think it's important that you have that understanding and background, and I'll actually call out the student council to come with me. Because they know it. This is their generation on social media. All this stuff starts there. It doesn't start on the playground like